Hey, I'm Rick Seaback, and you're listening to Poor Man's Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here at 565 Live. I don't think I said that in the first half. I'm glad I'm saying it right now. We're here at 565 Live in Bellevue. They do comedy here Thursday night, music Friday, Saturday. And we are here with the very funny and talented Aaron Kleiber. Aaron, how are you doing tonight? Cheech, where's the applause, man? There we go. Aaron!
I'm looking for this live link, baby.
I wasn't going to speak until I heard fake applause.
That
my
was it,
requirement.
his writer.
Faggot.
What's
I
up,
need
friends?
green M&Ms and no applause, no speech.
This is a rad spot. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, we were just talking about how we do, or they do stand-up here on Thursday nights, and it's a cool spot. I've stopped down a couple times.
Dude, this is a rad spot. I have not done stand-up here. I mean, I don't know how long they've even been doing it here. I have no idea. But it's pretty rad.
I know from when we had Ray Zawodny on the 1 week, and we had Colin Chamberlain. They both zoomed in, and they were saying how they were doing shows here a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But they both have moved, so I don't know how it's been since
yeah.
then. And I know Comedy Foundry on Thursdays does open mics. And I think last week they had just a regular show. Oh, yeah, I was telling you, the Raise the One he was on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've been doing that down here. They do music on Friday and Saturday, but it's a super cool vibe down here.
Cool space. I like Bellevue.
Yeah.
I think that's another
rad
thing is
spot.
like what Scott and Jeremy were talking about is a lot of people just don't know a lot of things that go on here. Just
Well,
like prime example
like
of
how
this
Scott
right here.
was saying how he thought it was just like down on 65. Like you see the Bellevue Live, Laugh, Love or whatever the fuck they
Yeah,
say.
down on that
Right.
huge road.
And you see like McDonald's and Wendy's and Eaton Park, and I thought that's Bellevue.
That's
They
what
have-
I thought.
They have the
yes.
AutoZone and the Advanced Auto Parts.
that not Bellevue?
Which why
That's
do they
the-
always
Oh,
have
just
those
no, you're
together?
right.
Have
Yeah.
you noticed that?
Dude, they're always next door to
Aaron,
each
now that
other.
you're on, we'll ask the hard-hitting questions. Have you ever noticed there's always the AutoZone and Advanced Auto Parts like right next to each
Oh,
other?
always very close.
I think it's a movie waiting to happen. I want to see the real documentary.
Do you think that they
about, like,
hate
the
each
family
other
rival?
so much that they always just open one next to each other? Or do you think that they're in cahoots and nobody knows, so they just open both of them
secret
next
monopoly.
I
That's what I'm saying,
the
man.
president of Advanced Auto Parts, like, he's like, they built one where? Get me a real estate agent now. Commercial. They're like, that's true. Like, you see, like, places being built, like, oh, like around here.
Yeah.
Dude. You see a Sheets go,
Yeah.
Get goes like, hold on, we're in the game now, right?
How dare
Entered the chat.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you hear about the blood.
Everybody gets a chance.
Yeah, you see the Advanced Auto Parts.
This country is
for
not
life.
a monopoly, okay? Everyone gets a fair shake on the block.
Well, Aaron, thanks for coming on.
That's the secret word of the day.
We used to do that. We used to do the secret shot action. We're gonna have to bring that back. I wrote it on there. Like, did you ever get to see? What was it? Figure It Out on Nickelodeon. This is probably in the 90s.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, it was
Okay.
a little game show.
Yeah, so they had Summer Sanders, the former Olympian swimmer,
That's right.
as the host, and Billy the answer head. But they would do whatever. They'd have like the Danny Temporelli or whatever would say something, and he'd put the hat on, or Lori Beth Dimberg, whoever was on it, and it would, like if they like I don't know touched their face or said something, it would like be an alarm, and then the slime would come down. So we've been doing that. You know, if one of our guests said something,
I love it.
it would go off, and we would do the shots.
Did I
but-
say it? What was it?
We
I didn't even
haven't
have
done
one?
it.
No, we haven't done it in weeks.
I thought you had one, like insurrection or something. Like, what's the secret word?
Yeah. Well, there's been some issue talking about it. Like, should we make it something that's likely for them to say so it's fun? Or should it be something like you just said, like super
Yeah, I know it's
Super weird word,
because
yeah.
you kind of want it to happen
Yeah.
like once a show.
right.
You
So it's
absolutely
like, what
do.
could that
yeah.
be?
Right.
You know, like, because no one's gonna say butt water every week. You know what I mean?
Not
Like,
every week.
not every week, but you know,
Probably less than half.
twice a year. Might be worth it.
Jeez, we missed you a week. You're doubling down on the sound effects.
Oh yeah, man, I missed
How are you
last
holding
week.
up, by the way? Do you
Not-
want to tell everyone
not
about
very
your
good.
ailment? Because you're fighting through something right now.
I got a problem with my ass, man. I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah, Shay seems
got
to
a problem with my
Shay
ass, and I
seems to
don't know
think
what it
that it's
is.
a bug bite.
I
Well, I'm
think it's
going
a
to the
spider
doctor
bite.
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Shay seems to think that it's a spider bite.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like a cyst of some sort. Either way, it is
I'm
hard
definitely
as
saying
fuck
it's not
to
a
sit
sis.
down.
That's what I'm definitely
You
going to
know
go
what?
with.
Let's go to the viewers. Let's see.
We're going live. We'll put the poll up on
Get
the
camera 5 out.
I have
We need
no
a sis
idea, but
cam.
it fucking hurts, man. It fucking hurts.
This is when we need
Camera
shake
5
cam.
is just strictly the rectal cam.
It's just my
See
asshole.
the inside of the intestine.
No, see, it's at the top of my tailbone. It's
Okay.
not like quite at my ass. You know
Is
what
it
I
a
mean?
bone sticking out? Did you fall?
No, not that. I mean, I can't say it's out of the realm of
Is it a
possibility,
heat
but I don't
pimple? I mean,
remember.
Oh, absolutely. No, these are all
No,
good
no
questions.
pimple, no pimple for
These
sure.
are all
I got
good
those all
questions.
up and down my thigh, but not my ass. I don't know why. You
Well,
know, it's just it hurts, man.
Good
I don't
getting to
know.
know you. This
We're
has
gonna
been
need
good.
some.
I got a
pictures
doctor
just so we
appointment
can
on
make
Wednesday.
This a TikTok later.
Oh, I'll
Just
give you.
so it's-
I'll give you all the
Hey,
X-rays,
you know what's
all the
crazy,
pictures.
you guys. And this is funny for the people watching it. They have the closed caption for us talking right now. We're watching.
Oh
it.
no
And
shit!
it actually
they're closed
said butt
captioning
water.
Whoa.
It said butt water. I was watching it.
You guys,
That's
It
cool.
really did.
what a milestone.
Yeah.
Wow, so simple. Now, Aaron, we're at minute
First butt
6.
water
so-
on Facebook Live.
Oh, my parents are proud. Speaking of parents, you do a lot of your comedy based on parents.
Oh, hi. I do things.
Yeah. So let's maybe reset this a little bit. We have Aaron Kleiber. I'm sure a lot of people know. Probably one of the best comedians in Pittsburgh, if not the, in my opinion. Very funny. I just rewatched your Grown Ass Dad last night.
Oh, thanks.
And it's very, very funny. I highly recommend it if anyone hasn't watched it. Whoa. Okay, sorry. The microphone just like popped in my ear. But I was watching it, and it showed kind of your upbringing and how you started and kind of how you started kind of troubled and then joined a youth group.
Yeah, dude.
And
yeah,
now
yeah. There's a mini doc. You know, it's a weird thing. It was
It started, and I was like, "Did I click the right thing?"
Yeah, I know. Some people said that, and it was the director Michael Killen. He's amazing.
Killing it.
Yeah, he's killing it. He had no business making my comedy special, but he did.
Yeah.
No, really, like in a way to compliment him. Like he's had season shows on ABC.
Yeah.
He's directed like tons of stuff.
Well, it
And
was
so-
well produced, and that's kind of some of the nerdy stuff I wanted to tell you
Dude,
about. I wanted to know about the editing and production.
Yeah, I mean, it was produced, directed by Michael Killen and his production company, Animal Media. And I've had a relationship with them for years, and was working on some projects with them, and they wanted to, so some companies, when they want to move into a different, kind of like entertainment,
Yeah.
they just kind of invest in something and make it. So they were like, they had documentaries that were featured at like Sundance, and had things they've worked on that were nominated for Oscars, and so they really focused on some documentary stuff. And then on the other side of things, they really like Michael Killen started off doing the Taco Bell dog.
Oh, really?
So like their company is called Animal because they specialize in animals.
Oh, okay.
So like producing things with animals in it.
Like the Budweiser horses.
Yeah, I mean, like
Clydesdales.
that's why, like, so he was part of revolutionizing like CGIing the Taco Bell dog. I have no
okay.
idea. Anyway, but like that's how
That
they,
seems really early with the Taco
Yeah.
Bell dog.
So,
and
but,
the
like,
CGI.
But like everything they work on, they work with animals.
Okay.
Not everything, but it was just interesting. But then
Yeah.
a comedian, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of, they wanted to put something on their portfolio.
Yeah.
And they wanted to start moving into more live, filming live entertainment, or more, because live entertainment like that is kind of like a documentary.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, we want to film something like this.
I can just see you kicking in the door to the production.
Yeah.
I am an animal.
I mean,
You want an animal? You got one.
dude,
Carnegie Music Hall.
it was a pretty like humbling experience when someone's like, it's kind of like, well, I want to make a movie, and someone goes, okay, we'll pay for it.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because how it came to be was I was developing some stuff, writing some things with them, and whatever, just trying to make the next TV show, whatever,
Right.
just writing ideas and creative stuff, and they were like, well, what else, you working on? I'm like, I'm working on a new album, I want a new hour, and I want to, film it. I haven't done I only did one album, in my whole life, and it was poop. You know, whatever. You know, the one you make like after you've doing comedy for a couple years, and you're like, I have a comedy special, and then you watch it 5 years later, you're like, oh my god,
that was
I
bad.
can't believe all these people have that DVD in their house. Like it's garbage. No one talks about my first album because it's garbage. Probably it is. I know it is. But yeah, so
It
just
just
talking
shows
about
your growth as an artist, Aaron.
yeah, no, for real. Like if I was like still like, yeah, this is dope. This is dope. This is good material.
There'd
Like,
be an
I'm-
Hey, you know what? Honestly, though, if you feel like if you think the same way at 30 as you feel at 25, you wasted 5 years.
Yeah.
Cheech.
Yeah, facts.
That's a good point.
Not wrong.
That's a papism right there. That's something Pap would say. But yeah, long story boring. I was like, you know, they were like, well, how do you, you know, film that? And I'm like, I don't know. I get people to do it, and it's going to cost me a bunch of money. Like, and they were like,
Standard.
Huh. They're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I was like, word. Okay. Like, this is
Sick.
great.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm in.
You've convinced me.
So yeah, I mean, and they're as professional as they come. Like I said, you know, they had a show on ABC not even 5-6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they you know, we checked into who would or could buy it possibly, and they shot it at the highest quality Netflix standards with Red cameras, I believe. Yeah, I don't know the cameras anymore. I'm not that nerdy anymore. I don't like.
It's rad.
I would just nod and
definitely
say,
red.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
do too. So
I know. I'm like,
I was,
For sure,
I was an
Red.
indie filmmaker much longer ago. So, like I don't know all the camera nerdy stuff, but it was like, you know, there's a standard for stuff that like that, and it was the standard, and and then we then the pandemic hit.
when you shot,
of course, it
unfortunately.
ruins everything.
When you were shooting that, how much kind of control did you have versus did you put it on other people to like, you know it, so you do it, or is like, I want the final say because it's my name on it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I tell you what, they definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But creatively, I mean, I trusted my director, Michael Killen. I've worked with him, you know, prior to that, just like on creative projects and as an actor. I know them from production, and my creative partner helped me produce it. My creative partner, Adam, you know, he's worked in advertising for years, and he's worked with them. So it's like, you know, it's not like somebody's just like waving a shiny thing at you and like, you know, you got to trust them. So, you know, going back to the little doc thing, there's a little mini doc about me in front of my comedy special. And a lot of that was, you know, my director's decision about like, you know how when you watch, I remember the conversation, it was like, you remember when you watch the Olympics and you want to root for these people, but you have no idea who they are.
They are.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and I was like, yeah, you know, kind of like, you know, Last Comic Standing, or like America's Got Talent. I've literally,
That's what I was saying, like American Idol.
yeah, I've filmed these things before. Like
Yeah.
I've auditioned for America's Got Talent like 5 times, and I've made it to the point where like, you know, sit down and do an interview and then never get aired. So like stuff like that. So like, who cares?
Remind me of that. I kind of want to go back to because
Yeah,
I actually watched that show.
It's
when
a
I was,
random.
Like,
it's
12.
so crazy. Yeah, you want to hear how it really works?
Yeah, I do.
Actually, yeah,
Because I've never waited in line a single year. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's how it works. I can make it. No, you're in line. No, you're not. You didn't get an invite.
There's 7 people who might make
Yeah,
it.
man, it's weird.
okay.
But no, why did I say that? But it was that thing like, you know, you're like, okay, well, you want to get to know you, and you know, people don't know who you are. So I thought it was really interesting. He's like, I kind of want people to know where you're coming from and why you're who you are, and you know, and I thought that was really cool. And so we just put together a little like kind of, you know, if you haven't seen it, it's like a 5-minute just kind of get to know me, like you would literally watch on like America's Got Talent or something. Like, hey, get to know the contestant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who might make the finals, you know, and then they give you, you know, if they give somebody a long bio in one of those shows,
There's never
they're
been
going
a
far.
There's never
They're
been
not
a
flying
long
to
bio.
Indianapolis to interview their high school theater teacher
Right.
if they're going to get kicked off this episode. You know, whatever.
It's never immediately. Or if it is, it's like in such a like a horrific fashion that it's like what was the is it William Hung, the one from America's Got Talent, like when it came out, or the other singing one. God, I sound so old now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
What's
know, man.
that singing
What's the singing
one?
one? The main one.
Honey,
American Idol.
Yeah,
that's
There you
What's that
go,
newfangled
Bob.
singing machine?
Gosh.
Yeah.
That American Idol was old.
Yeah.
Like
Kelly
Kelly Clarkson,
man.
she's about to announce like,
Yeah.
I'm a grandmother. Like, she's like,
Yeah. That had to have been like 2002 or something.
I'm old. You guys are younger than me. Coughing.
But yeah, so in the beginning of that, they
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
have
please,
you.
not to be-
They show you younger. Obviously, they can't do. There's a great Mitch Hedberg joke where it's like every camera is when they take a picture. Every picture is a picture of you when you were younger. But they had the.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's deep. That's deep.
Fucking nice.
Thank you. But yeah, they had that, and they kind of had you. You kind of joined a youth group, I saw, or something
Yeah,
like that.
when I was in I don't know how deep you want to get into that, but I mean, yeah, when I was in high school, I was like any kid, like poor kid running around the neighborhood in Homestead, and like I was from Still Valley, and so just running around riding bikes, robbing cars, whatever, like stealing change out of ashtrays, shit like that, cassette tapes, like just doing hooligan shit. You know what I mean?
Hood rat shit.
Hooligan shit.
Yeah, hooligan shit.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? But I literally got to be friends with. I was into videos. I was into movies, and I got to be friends with these two dudes that were making movies. One of them, to this day, still my close friend. He produces and edits and directs Pittsburgh Dad, Chris Brexta.
Oh, okay.
So him and I started as like high school, like kind of film and theater buddies. Like we were like, you like movies? I like movies. What's up? Like, you know what I mean? Like. And at the time he was like, "Hey, you want to go to youth group with me on Wednesday night?" And I'm like, I have like weed in my pocket, and I'm just like, yeah, what's that? But I always saw him go with all these girls.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, I'll go to youth group.
Obviously, I'm going, yeah.
So yeah, Jesus drew me in with chicks. That's how he does it.
Forbidden fruit.
That's right. Gives you a bite of that taste of that apple. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I thought you were going to say ass.
Yeah, no, I went to school for this. I have no idea. That's a totally different book of the Bible.
Bite of that ass.
Yeah, bite of that ass. The forbidden ass bite.
That'll be a great.
For real, like it
That'll
really.
be a great sound drop for us forever. Bite of that ass.
For real, that's what it was. It was like going to like hang out with girls and like just like I'm like I don't know. Yeah. And I even like I knew church like growing up a little bit,
yeah.
but I was just like I kind of like in a positive way got duped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you ever hear that story where like I just accidentally started playing football and now I'm in the NFL. Like I don't know, like, but that's what it was.
Well,
man.
you hear that with comedians too. At least the people that like to tell you that story, like, my friends just told me to go up on the stand.
I mean, there are a couple people I met like that. They were like, my buddy at work told me to get out there. And you're like, what?
I get that to work like a couple times.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like you need to write a handful of things.
Oh, yeah.
Or you at least have to have it like in your mind that like, yeah, I could do that.
Sorry, man. I'm like,
Oh, you're good.
If you die on set, I'm going to be upset.
That'll get us so many views.
Like
Oh, no,
God.
you're good.
Oh, I know.
Cheech, hurry up, show your ass to everyone. No one will notice.
But sitting on a cushion.
Yeah, but the point I wanted to get with from just seeing the small doc in the beginning of it, it seemed like you do a lot of family stuff now, but it was almost like did you not have a family when you were young? Like I don't want that to sound rude,
no,
but it seems like you said you wanted to kind of be the dad you didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like just being a dad, that's like being the dad I didn't have. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that grew up in a single-parent home, you know what I mean? Like you want to be, a good parent. You want to be the thing that you didn't have. So that's, I mean, that's just pretty simple as it said.
Yeah.
But for me, honestly, like, I was an actor and a filmmaker a decade before I did stand-up. I didn't start doing stand-up until I was 27, 28.
Okay.
So I made independent films. I did Improv, and I did Second City in Chicago for a short time.
Oh, no way.
And, and...
How was that?
It was. I mean, that's a whole nother loaded question. I mean, I don't claim that like I'm Second City grad or anything. I took a la carte classes.
Yeah.
I mean, I drove back and forth to Chicago and was like, let me take Improv 101. Let me take sketch writing.
Right.
And just it was kind of a dream of mine. And my wife's dream was to have a baby. And so I was like, well, we can't have a baby in Chicago. Doing improv.
Don't get murdered, man.
Right, yeah.
That's not good. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we had a baby and we got a house, and I was doing comedy with a comedy group of friends of mine that I grew up with, and John Pitcher, Chris Cord, and we were doing improv and like sketch comedy, and we were thinking about like going to Chicago, doing stuff like that. And there was a tragedy in one of my buddy's families, and he was also my wife and I's roommate, and like had to move out. And like everything was crazy. Like we were writing things, we were doing sketches, and I, just kind of like lost my comedy partners,
Right.
And kind of was like starting my own life. And he had this tragedy in his family. So it was just like, okay, well now what do I do? Like I made some movies, I want to be an actor. And someone said, you should try stand up. And, somebody mentioned him on the podcast. Terry Jones mentioned Frank Nicotero.
Okay, yeah.
Frank Nicotero.
He did, and I told him there. I remember my mom and I would watch Street Smarts.
Yeah, dude.
Which was his show, which I
Yeah.
still love. I watched it on YouTube like a week ago.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend Jess, I was referencing it because nobody I don't know. It's this weird thing. Like if you miss school, you'd watch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you see the rewind. It's funny though. Anybody. I recommend go and check out Frank Nicotero.
Yeah, Frank.
Street Smarts.
So funny. Well, Frank, they're like a Pittsburgh Hollywood family. I think Terry mentioned they're like related to Greg Nicotero, who did Walking Dead, and he's now basically the master of horror.
Yeah.
If Tom Savini dies, it's Greg. But his dad, Frank's dad, was a classic Pittsburgh actor.
Okay.
He was in George Romero's The Crazies. He was he was in a bunch of George Romero stuff, and he was in Mothman Prophecies. So he's just like this. Frank's dad was just Sam Nicotero. He was a DJ in Hollywood for a long time. Came back to Pittsburgh, raised his family. Yeah. So he's just this like 70-year-old actor. And he did our first, mine and Chris Prex's first independent film called Captain Blasto. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. We cast, Pittsburgh actors. That's also where we met Kurt Wooten, who's Pittsburgh dad. Right. He was in our first independent film in 2001. I'm old as balls. So that's how we met all them. And Sam Nicotero was this old guy who was in our movie. And, he's this like classic Pittsburgh actor, has been all this stuff. Like he had no business being in our movie. Like he was pissed off because like I was a producer. I'm 20. And I'm like, he's like, what's for dinner today? And I'm like, I'll order a pizza. Like, like that was that filmmaking. And he's like, these fucking kids. Like he hated us.
There's no craft services.
Right. No craft services was did I have in my pocket? Do I have a Snickers bar in my pocket?
What do you want on the dollar menu?
Do you want to buy it? Yeah, I know. So like I just known him for so long, and he's like, "Oh, you're funny, you're funny. Like you got to meet my son Frank. He's out in L.A. He's a comedian. Blah blah blah." So friends for years. Yeah. And come like 2007, 2008, I'm doing Whose Line Is It Anyway?
God, I love that show.
And not the real show. It was a bootleg show on the Gateway Clipper.
Spelled Who's with the apostrophe.
It was like who's laughing now? Any who's like it was like shit like that, And I was doing that, and I was doing like Tony and Tina's wedding, like on Gateway Clipper. Yeah. Okay, so my acting career is like fucking real tight.
They passed some Pacino for that.
Dude, I know. But I was doing this show with Sam Nicotero. He started doing this Tony and Tina show. And he's like, dude, you have to do stand-up. You have to. My son Frank is coming in this year around Christmas, and you have to come see him do stand-up. You have to. I'll give him his email. You got to talk to him about doing stand-up. So at this point, I'm just like trying to be an actor. I'm just trying to do improv and like sketch comedy, and like maybe I'll write I don't know, like a funny show one day. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what I was doing. And his son, Frank Nicotero, came into town, and I was talking to him a little bit like, oh, your dad said, I should try stand up. And he was like, hey, I'm performing over Christmas. He's like, why don't you come do a guest set?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Wow.
Now, mind you, for 10 years, I did improv and sketch
Yeah.
and kind of indie filmmaking. So, like, stand-up was the thing I didn't do.
Right.
I just, like, I love stand-up. Like, I loved Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence and Steve Martin. Like, those are my favorites. And so I was like, I don't know how to do stand-up.
Yeah. Just
And
because
I
you like respect it doesn't mean you can do it.
Do it.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like, I
Right.
knew, I mean, I was a performer at the
Right.
time. So I'm like, this is a whole nother thing, you know? So I'm like, I want to try it. Like, I want to try it. And I had like note cards, like what? Like that makes me, it disgusts me now. But yeah, I just like, I did it and it was okay.
Yeah.
Like it was okay. Like I remember being like, huh,
That
this
wasn't
is okay.
that bad.
It wasn't, the only thing that was like, I was like, but I'm not doing it like they do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. I felt like I was acting like a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
You know, you go up like, hey everyone, how are you doing? Anyway, okay. I said, hello. You know. But just like that, and you know, doing that, and you know, Frank Nicotero's like, you need to keep doing stand-up. And like people are like, you've never done stand-up before? I'm like, no. And they're like, you got to do stand-up. I'm like, okay. And I kind of went to a couple open mics and was like, I don't know, this isn't like great. Like it's not. Did a couple open mics at the Smiling Moose. That's all there really was. And the Funny Bone was still open. And so I did like 5 open mics, and then I took like 6 months off because I got 2 movies. 2 of the first movies I ever got was an ABC Family movie that never made an ABC Family, and the movie Warrior with Tom Hardy.
I was just gonna.
Yeah.
I wrote that down because I was like,
Yeah.
I want to rewatch his stand up thing. So I typed it in and it was like IMDb, and I was like,
Yeah, I know.
let me check this out.
Yeah, I know.
There's like credits on there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of credits, and I will tell you, half of them I've been cut out from, so it's amazing. But they still put you on there. You're still in the credits. I don't know why, but that's fine with me. Put me on there, and then still pay me.
Do you have? This is a strange question. It's stupid. Do you have any Aaron Kleiber credit versus like Aaron L. Kleiber versus
No,
A. Kleib?
no, that's
or
funny,
like
no.
whatever.
Oh yeah, I know some people have like also known as
Yeah, alias.
like you know Aaron Henry Kleiber, like or A Henry. Yeah, I know it's stupid like that. No, it's all.
It'll make you sound like you're gonna assassinate
No.
assassinate a president.
Yeah, right.
If you have
But
3
no,
names, it's bound to be.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of like didn't do stand up, and then I met another stand up comic, and they were like an extra on the movie, and they're like, you know, oh, you're funny, you know, blah blah blah, and you should do you do stand up? And I'm like, yeah, I do stand up. Yeah, I did stand up like 5 times, like 6 months ago. And they're like, do you want to do a show? I'm like, yeah. They're like, all right, you got 15 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? Like I was. And when I was on set, I was like scared to do stand up, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And believe it or not, there's the Brian Callen.
Okay, yeah.
He
was on
plays-
Mad TV and stuff.
He plays the Joe Rogan type character on Warrior. He plays like the commentator, comedian who's a commentator. I know, weird.
Oh wait, that's the boxing movie, right?
The
is
UFC
it-
movie, like a
Okay.
MMA movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's something.
But yeah, he was the person that was like, you know, I was asking about stand up, and I'm like, you know, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. And he was like, well, you're an improviser. He's like, you need to go up a little more loose and not like worry about like sticking to a script.
This is your conversation with Brian Callen?
Yes.
Okay.
And
for people who don't know, he's like a legit stand-up too. He's very funny.
Oh, he's crazy funny improvised stand up.
I used to listen to his podcast with Will Sasso and Chris D'Elia. They did a 10-minute podcast.
Oh yeah, the 10-minute pod. Yeah. Well, it was called 10-minute.
I think it was called 10-minute pod.
It was really called 10-minute pod. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when he said, and now this is for improv nerds, he was like, okay, like when you come up with a joke idea and you think of like a funny sentence, he was like, okay, that's your suggestion from the audience. Go. And I was like, what? Like it blew my, because you know, improv, it's like, give me a city and an animal, and they're like, El Paso spider, you know, like whatever.
Right.
But for me, I was like, okay, I came up with this joke about I'm afraid of spiders because I heard they're all related.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's like, is that like the mafia? You know, that was the premise, and that's a real like thing that like I use as an example. Yeah. So like I remember that first show I went on stage and just like talked about how I'm afraid of spiders and they're all family. and I did like 18 minutes.
Wow. That's a long time.
And I remember Matt Light hosted the show.
Yeah.
He's been doing stand up longer than me.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe Matt's been doing it.
Yeah,
longer.
Matt was host of that show, and I remember coming up and he was like, when did you start doing stand up? I was like, oh yeah, I did stand up like 5 times, and I don't know what I'm doing. And Matt told me, he was like, and Terry Jones, the story, they're like, I guess Matt texted Terry, was like, you got to come see this fat white dude named Aaron. and Terry's told me, he's like, I remember Matt texting me, like, you got to come see this fat white dude named Aaron.
Matt was one of the guys. We had him on in October last year when I was
Those are my OGs. Like, that's who I came up with, those guys. We all came up together.
Matt recommended you right away. And Terry, we had him on after we moved here.
Right.
And he recommended you as well. Word. I love Terry. I love Matt too, but Terry, they're both great.
They're good dudes. They've been doing it, like they were, I mean, those are some of the guys that like set the bar for comedy in Pittsburgh. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so when you started, those were the young guys that were like hustling, like crushing. Bill Crawford just started popping off like as like a feature comic, and like and Wysocki was like one of the hot, hot like kind of feature comics, and then then there was just like Jim Crenn and Billy Elmer. Yeah. I don't know if you know that name, Billy Elmer. But
I know
like,
Crenn.
Yeah, Billy Elmer was like the dude from Pittsburgh who was like, he was on Showtime. He was,
okay.
Yeah, he's still lives in Butler and screaming at traffic. But those were the OGs. Those were the guys that showed us love, those guys. And then like, Terry and them, I mean, they were like, oh, this is how you do it. Okay.
Well, Terry's another one of those guys who's like, well, I do comedy, but I also do 19 other things. And he's another guy like yourself. That was the main point. I'm glad I kind of brought that up.
We'll talk. I mean, I could talk for 4.5 hours, so whatever. Follow your dreams.
Yeah. But
I'll come on again. We'll cover like chapters of my life.
Perfect. But the reason I brought up the upbringing, because you seem like such a good dad now, and I have 2 kids and I fucking adore them. Like, they're the shit.
Yeah.
And I love being a dad. And I watched your whole stand-up thing, like I said yesterday again, and it's so funny, and I relate to a lot of it. But it is like seeing like the people who might not have had it growing up, and then like breaking that like cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
so huge, and it's awesome to see. And I have so much respect for like other dads who are like just good dads. And Terry is another one like in that that I would say that. And so like I didn't want to start that way, but like you are a good dad, and it's so funny to hear
I mean,
that.
you can go ask my kids.
Yeah. But your whole thing, and you talking about just like getting shit on and carrying a diaper.
Dude, yeah.
My son, he's twisted in some weird way, but I remember he like threw up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I felt so bad for him, so I like picked him up, tried to take him to the bathroom, and I like feel this thing, like this warmth in my mouth, and I like he's puking into my mouth.
Yeah, dude.
And he like brings it up every now and then.
Was
to, like,
it?
remind
Which
me.
one?
Matt.
The young one.
No shit.
I knew it was
Poor
that.
kid.
He asked me the other day, he was like, did you like it? What's wrong with you?
I love it.
So I got
He
a
is
disgusting
second twisted.
I got a disgusting story. I hope that it's not clipped out and made into something grosser, but
Oh, we're live, honey.
I know.
You got this.
When my son was a baby, he laying on the table pissed in my face and mouth, like meow, like that. And I was like, like a dog in a fountain.
That baby, it's from off to on like
Dude,
that.
it was like, and I'm like that. Okay, so
disgusting.
I don't know if it was like soon afterwards, week, whatever. I go to change my son again, and he like pees a little bit. And I get like real scared and grossed out all of a sudden.
Yeah. PTSD?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, he's not going to pee on me, right? So I was already like, oh my God, he's going to pee on me. But there's one thing, like my kids' diapers, as my kids got older, I don't know why. I don't know. And it's not some covert thing that I pulled on my wife. My kids' shit got worse to me. Like it would start, like my son, I don't know what it was about my second child, my son.
Yeah.
It made me gag. Okay. So I think he's going to pee a little bit. Right. So I'm already like hesitant. And I open his diaper.
Oh, no.
And the fear of the pee, but also the shit just permeating my pores. I puked all over my baby son, all over my infant son. like coffee. Like it was like
Yeah.
I was just like I was like
Coffee.
Folgers.
Oh
like just
my God.
And
Yeah.
my baby son is just like he's like having a blast.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I think I just broke the chair. Yeah, it's and he's like in it like a water park.
Yeah.
He was like,
Oh, it's nice and warm
That's
for them to
absolutely
And he
disgusting.
thinks
It
it's
was
a
the
father-son
That's
thing
foul.
because he's giving it to you. He's
But, you know,
reciprocating.
What did your wife say to that?
I don't know if I told her
Okay.
immediately.
Yeah.
That's probably good.
I do. My wife also got this one time. One of my kids puked so bad on my wife that I had to stop and take photos and video. Like it was, she had the baby like this, and it puked in her shirt, through her shirt, through her ass crack, like all down the back of her body. It was so much. Like I don't know. Do you have kids?
Fuck no.
Yeah, right. Good, living the dream over here.
Do you guys hear what you're saying? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I know.
You're not selling me at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, there is like the amount. You don't know that much is in a baby. But it was covering and I'm just like taking pictures. My wife's like, get me a towel. And I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, it's, yeah.
That's so disgusting.
You have to do it,
Shit and
though.
puke stories, guys. That's what we're here for.
You were
But
saying,
going back to what I feel like I've never asked a single question.
No, I love it.
I've not answered a single question.
I think it's great.
But going back to the serious thing, yes. Being a dad and like being a dad that kind of comes from abuse or like, you know, being able to like break that cycle. That's what, you know, you say like is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing to know that like, you know, especially just like your family or the people that know you or your family or, you know, and, you know, you're just proud to be able to do that for your kids or even like my mom or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
oh no.
So yeah, I figured I'd address that.
I think that's awesome.
Probably good.
I wanted to ask you because we have a lot of comedians on that are kind of like, I mean, they're local comedians and stuff, but you're more of, I mean, you see at the beginning of the one video, I think it was the last one or the special, you're in like Milwaukee or something, unless I'm watching something else.
Yeah.
So do you have
Milwaukee in like 4 feet of snow at 5 in the morning.
So
Yeah,
do
that
you
was
have
great.
any bad trips on the road story or is there, you know, a city you look forward to?
Shit, I mean, dude, that I'll tell you right now, that show in Milwaukee, that was I got booked in Milwaukee. The comedy club closed there. Now there's an Improv just opened there like a year ago.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, we're opening up this new place. And I was like, well, I have some people in Milwaukee that will come see me. Like, I want to, you know, go.
Yeah.
New comedy club. And Colin Chamberlain, he's my homie for, you know, since day one. Him and his dad took my stand-up class at Arcade.
Oh, really?
Colin has been my opener since forever, and now he's like a college D1 player. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like I get to like be the coach and be like, look at that kid.
He's performing at Caroline's in New York, man.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty
He's
rad.
doing
It's like,
things.
you know what I mean? It's like you coach a kid in Little League. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, buddy, good for you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Look at that. I coach that kid.
It's cool seeing just
he-
people do things.
He's been my homie, dude, since day one, and so like he's been on the road with me a bunch. And that show in Milwaukee, so we go and it looks like a comedy club. Like we've never seen pictures in there before because I think like literally we were like the third weekend they've ever had. You know, like no name cheap comedians like me. So
You were on the Wall of Fame,
dude, right?
Yeah.
We go in and it is a former nightclub.
Yeah.
But it's not just any former nightclub. It is a former foam party club.
Oh, I love a good foam
So
party.
the whole room
Nice.
just looks like a concrete like garage because you know they had to like soak it down every weekend for the foam party. Like,
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to set the mood and also have the
so
acoustics.
they're just this huge bar because you know like these places there's not much to them.
No.
There's just a huge bar.
Yeah.
A drain in the floor.
Yep.
You know, have you seen Blade? Okay.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah,
that. And then-
exactly.
it's a
and then
room
it-
you murder people in.
Yeah, and then they have this stage that what I can only imagine is for people covered in foam dancing.
Oh yeah.
And it's just this huge. I
Absolutely.
mean, the whole
You can tell by the stage pretty quickly.
dude. The whole one side of the
That's
room
a
is
foam
just
dancing
a
stage.
6-foot stage.
Yeah.
So, and they just lined chairs on the floor. Like they were like, we started a church. Like that's what it looked like. Like that's what, and they're like, it's sold out.
Yeah.
It's like 250 people. So there's like 250 people in chairs in the middle of a foam nightclub. And they also don't have spotlights.
Okay.
Oh God.
They just turn all the lights on.
No.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
It was like, yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Here,
Lights.
yeah.
Those lights.
Those are the worst
Yeah.
lights.
So it was
the
like
clean up lights at a
fluorescent
restaurant.
work lights.
Yeah.
And they were like, and we were like, can you please turn these off? Please.
Yeah.
Please. Like
I'd rather
and
do
they're
it in
like,
the
"Oh, it's-"
dark.
I know. We were like,
Literally.
we'd rather be. So they lightened it a little bit. Like they turned some lights on, like the banks and everything, or the lights.
Turn all the lights off before you have all the lights on.
I
Yeah.
kid you not, we're me and Colin are backstage, which backstage is like the champagne rooms. Like basically they left the champagne room couches, still had foam squeezing out of them. motherfuckers.
You thought that was foam.
And I'm not kidding, the dude like running the sound, he just comes back behind a curtain and he just hands me and Colin Chamberlain a microphone. He's like, start whenever you want. We're like, cool.
Cool.
So this is one of those things where you've done so many crazy shows that I'm just like, all right, I'll introduce you.
Yeah.
So I literally am like, and coming here, you guys ready for a good show tonight? Like I'm doing the announcements.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, everybody give a round of applause for your wait step. Like I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
my
all right, and now
God.
the first comedian, all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, give it up. Your opening act, Colin Chamberlain. Like I do that, and then Colin goes out, does like 25, and then he brings me out, and then like, dude, and then we had to go home like super early the next day. I don't remember why. And I did like make Colin like film some stuff. We were like, filming. Like they were like, go film behind the scenes stuff. Are you on the road? I'm like, this is boring. It's like, but literally us waking up at 5 a.m. Okay, to get
Here's me pissed. I'm still in Indiana.
I know it's ridiculous.
Right.
And we're in Milwaukee.
Well, I'm saying on your way back.
Oh my God! Right? I know.
That state takes
that's 100%,
forever.
Yeah. But if you wake up, and this is real comedy.
Yeah.
You go. It's 3 feet of snow now.
Yeah.
On your car, you clean off your car. You got a ticket
Yeah.
because there was no parking, but all the no parking signs are covered in 3 feet of snow.
Fucking snow.
Sorry to blow out your ears. I tried to pull away.
Believe me, no
So
parking
yeah,
tickets.
that was
You get in the
literally
right place.
that clip is us like, it's 5 a.m. Let's get some footage.
Yeah.
And then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's like
It's like Jack Nicholson at the end of
so
The
that's
Shining.
Comedy. That's comedy.
Yeah.
That's,
$15 frozen.
but yeah, you have stuff like that. I mean, you have stuff where you go in the middle of nowhere. It's like, oh, I got to go to this casino in Wyoming just to pay my mortgage this month. And then you have 19 old people looking at you like, I need to sit down because my knees hurt, but then I'm going to go gamble.
Right.
You have that, but then you have, the clubs that like now, which I make a point to like, this is where I want to go. Like, I don't want to do the casinos in the middle of nowhere. I want to go to Hilarities in Cleveland. I want to play the Improvs. I want to continue to go to the clubs in LA where I'm past, So yeah, there are the good spots.
What are your favorite venues, like locally, or at least like tri-state area?
It's tough. I mean, I've been doing it long enough where, currently right now, Shannon Norman, my homie forever. He has one of the best shows there is in his
I think
barbershop.
he was just on Matt's The Dirt.
Oh yeah, he was just on that show, I think. Yeah. His Byron Street barbershop. He's one of the owners of the barbershop. Comedian who became a barber. Shannon's one of the funniest people on the planet. One of the funniest, like, off the cuff, funny dudes I've ever met.
Yeah.
So funny. His show's so rad. And the second floor of Arcade Comedy Theater is like a stand-up, like stand-up murder box. It's so much fun
to
do stand-up in the second floor of Arcade. Yeah, you pack 90 people in there. It's like,
oh, no way.
It's like you're spitting on their brows. It's the best. It's, yeah, and it's there's nothing ever that compares that with your hometown A room.
Yeah.
Like where I started, where people like Matt and me and Terry started and Bill Crawford started, and where like you're just a dad up the street.
Yeah.
Just like I'm cutting my grass, and the next minute, Steve-O's asking me to open for him, or I'm going on tour with Bob Saget because I met him at the Improv.
Yeah.
Like so that A room is where I met all my friends that are famous. Like my comedian friends. Like I was the opener, and they're like, oh well, we need John Witherspoon wants a white comic who can do a black audience.
Yeah.
And they asked me.
Yeah.
And I toured with John for 8 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I met him at the Pittsburgh Improv. So
You're like the East Coast Ralphie May.
Yeah, I've opened for Ralphie. Like,
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah, I've been on Ralphie's tour bus. And
Yeah.
my kids have hung out with his kids.
Well, you know what? Just from you saying it, like you haven't done it super, super long, and those are some bigger names like Bob Saget, John Witherspoon, people like that. it seems like you've had relative success pretty quickly then. I mean, I don't want to say quickly because there's a lot of hours people don't see. And
hey, man,
it's not like it just happens for anyone.
If it wasn't, I mean, I'm thankful. Like, wait, I don't know how I was going to answer your question a certain way.
Fuck you, Chris.
I mean, I mean, like I said, like having that room there really just created that opportunity. And to be honest, I mean, people like comics, like, you know, I don't know if Matt was working at the Improv around then. Sorry.
Okay.
But like, you know, there weren't a lot of comics then, and there weren't a lot of like open mics. I mean, I started 2 in the first 6 months I started doing stand up, because everything I heard about getting better at stand up was to do more stand up.
Yeah.
So it's like either go to the Smiling Moose every Tuesday or wait once a month at the Improv or once every 2 weeks at the Funny Bone. That's all there was.
So it was like create your own thing.
Yeah, man. I was like, okay, so I started 2 shows immediately so I could get up more. But really, I do credit with like, the first time I ever performed at the Improv was, technically it was like maybe 9 months into stand-up, but it was really 4 months after my first real show. I did 5 open mics, and then in July I'm trying to think out loud. Sorry. I'm like, weird. I need to calm down or something. I need my medicine.
Oh, easy there, Cheech. Yeah, he's got it over there.
But I did that show in the summer of 2009. July of 2009 was that first show I did, and then November I was featuring at the Improv.
Wow.
And my first gig at the Improv was featuring, which is in the middle. That's like there's an MC that does 10, and then in the middle somebody does 20, and then the headliner comes on. So when they call me, they're like, "Oh, will you come and you want to do your first weekend at the club?" And I'm like, "Oh, who's featuring?" One of my friends, and they're like, "No, you're featuring. Do you want to feature?" And I'm like, "That's like 20 minutes." They're like, yeah, we seen you do open mic, like do a bunch of different material, just whatever. Put all your material together. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
That seems terrifying.
Crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
They could have set you up for a lot of it could have been bad.
And it was for,
at
the time he had 2 names.
Yeah.
It was for Sebastian Maniscalco.
Okay.
His name is Sebastian now, just Sebastian.
Yeah.
So I that was my first weekend featuring for Sebastian Maniscalco. And I was like, I did like 3 shows ever. And I was only,
I don't know how you can do much better than that.
I tell you what, man, I went in and just like people were like, "Oh, I'm like, well, here's the thing. I went in and just did my job. I just went in, was funny, but I now know, like, I had 10 years of improv and sketch experience. Like, I knew how to be in front of an audience, which, fast forward, I taught 5 years of stand-up at Arcade Comedy Theater. I now can tell people, like, that saved me a whole year of open mics.
Yeah.
Because most of that first year is just getting comfortable in front of an audience, getting comfortable in front of a mic, getting comfortable with making people laugh, like knowing what's funny out of your mouth and your soul. So for me, I had a really good, jump start.
Yeah.
It was really just figuring out how stand-up worked and like how that audience worked. And I fell in love with it immediately because for the first time I was doing an entertainment that didn't involve producers and cameramen and writers and sketch partners and, getting a room to like practice and like it was just me showing up, getting on stage. Right. I was like, I like this.
I was just going to ask because you said you've had a lot of, experience with improv and sketch and stuff like that. And stand-up's very different because it's like it's solo you. So, I mean, obviously you answered the question. You like that, but,
I tell you what,
have you fallen out of sketch and stand or not stand?
I've definitely fallen out of like sketch. I mean, sketch is such a commitment, and like some of the last things I've done, in sketch stuff, I did stuff at Arcade, and we've did like we've done roasts there, and we've done
How do you see for sketch at least? It seems like people's attention span is so short now that like if you put a sketch like clip out. Like, if you don't get it in the first 5 seconds, like, it could be the funniest thing, but anymore, like, you look at these old SNL clips and
social media is now sketch comedy.
Yeah.
That's sketch comedy. It's
right.
I mean, when you see people doing TikToks as characters and comedians, and then you see really good comedians are really good at TikTok, and you're like, well, they're already funny.
Yeah.
They just learned how to use TikTok.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, That's the new sketch comedy, really. It's the bite-sized stuff like that, I think. But then you still see, like, it's dope to see sketch comedy on Netflix, like, or the guys like Please Don't Destroy, or I don't know if you saw, like, what is it, Auntie Donna on Netflix.
No.
Oh, you got to watch these insane assholes. Yeah. Like, it's sketch comedy. It's like, it's cool that the streaming services now, are realizing, like, this is also good content because you can binge sketch shows,
Right.
and thank God for people like Chappelle and Jordan, Key and Peele, and, keeping sketch alive, and, Saturday Night Live is still cracking.
Well, it seems like it's gone.
Sorry, every one of these topics, I just want to apologize. I could talk for like an hour on each one because I'm such a dork.
Oh my God. I'm glad that, like, when I ask a question, you actually have a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Sure. But yeah, I miss sketch. I miss that, like, live performance of something you write. But I changed so much where now it's like my sketch is me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of a version of myself. I'm doing a character that's Aaron Kleiber.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, kind of making that part of, like, painting a picture of, like, a funny, joke or something, that's kind of feels like sketch.
Yeah.
Like I'm acting it out. But improv, I mean, I fell off of improv too. But then again, all my stand-up is improv. Mm-hmm. I don't write down my jokes.
So you just go up and talk and kind of whatever works. Do you,
like I said
record
before, like,
what you do?
I write like a sentence.
Yeah.
Like I write a funny
bullet
idea.
points or something.
Yeah, right. Like I write bullet points, and then for me, my process is to go on stage and think and just say, like I said before, going from what Brian Callen taught me, I still to this day, I write on stage. Yeah. So I go up with an idea and I just, like, mess around with it and see what the audience likes, and I record it, and I'm like, in my head I remember what they laughed at, and sometimes I'll go back and listen to it, like, okay, like they like that and that, and then I just
do you think
do it
that
again.
do you think that mentally helps you because you go up kind of with the, like, I'm going up and I'm going to improv. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if you write something and go up and it doesn't work, it, like, kind of, like, stops your momentum, kind of.
Yeah, for me, everyone has a different process. Yeah. Like, for instance, I like Jeff Conkle, one of the best comedians in the city, does stand up literally once every 3 months at this point, and is still one of the funniest mother effers, like, in the city. Jeff Conkle literally types out every word.
Yeah.
Like on a Word document. That I'm like, what? What? I don't even know how to articulate what I'm like. If you told me to, like, write down jokes I'm like, it would be like, and then I'd be like writing an essay. Like, so for me, like, it number one, it helps me memorize, like, as an actor. Theater sucks, but, like, if you do, like, it's called blocking. Like, if, like, as I go through the motions, I remember my material. Like, so repetition. I told you everything answer. I could have a nerdy answer for, like, Cheech is ready to go to bed.
I'm good, dude.
Cheech has an
I'm sorry about Cheech's ass.
I'm fine, dude. I'm fine. Keep going.
But yeah,
that'll be another sound drop. Just worried about Cheech's ass.
My ass hurts.
But yeah, I would just go up with a premise like my ass hurts, and I would just tell people why my ass hurts and what it's like, and I basically, I love building material like that because it almost. I can see now it kind of forces me because it almost puts me in a trap. Yeah. So it's like, if I don't have anything funny, I got to leave. I got to get off stage.
Right.
So I'm like, well, you better make this idea funny. Yeah. So it kind of puts me in, like, a corner like, kind of like, how about this? How about this? No, you don't like this? How about, like, and just keep pounding ideas.
I love that because, like, the way
it makes me make them funny.
The way I am is, like, with doing just this podcast is, like, I don't like to talk to people. I don't like to do things. But if I do this, I have to be disciplined.
Yeah, right.
I have to show up.
Like, you,
and then I,
in
like,
normal
book
life,
people in advance.
You'd never talk this long to another person in your life.
No.
Yeah, right.
No,
never.
I'd say hi
and,
like, look away and be like,
I know.
Whatever. But, like, if I'm doing this, but because it, like, kind of terrifies me, and because of this, like, I want to do that and grow, and I want to, overcome that, and, like, I want to do stand up and stuff like that. So I'm working on that, and I want to get to know people. But it's like, I kind of like.
Yeah.
Like how you said, just getting up on stage without knowing, like, I'm comfortable with that somewhat, but I'd also, like, it terrifies me at the same time, which means I have to do it.
Yeah, making you do it, like, makes you stronger. Like, it's...
With everything, though.
And still to this day, I'll tell you what, when I have new material,
Yeah.
and it's like new material night or something where I'm like, I'm gonna try a couple things. I'm like, oh my God, oh please, like please be funny. Like you're just, but it's I have to have that jumping out of a plane moment to like make myself funny. I don't know,
Right.
You know what I mean?
How do you deal with when if you write something and like you think it's gonna kill, and like you go up and you say it, and like you're waiting for the laugh break and there's not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it happens. I mean, you have like, I have lots of bullets. That I'm like,
Cross out.
Yeah, this sentence was really funny at midnight when I was laying in bed and I made myself giggle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you say it in front of like 90 people on a Wednesday. You
There's
know,
that like Seinfeld episode or something where he like writes something in the middle of the night and he thinks
yeah.
it's great. Then he realizes the next day
Yes.
it's like a robot thing
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it really, like I said, when I do that, I will be on stage and I will, it's almost like, you know, you're like secretly sobbing and you just, for me, like I said, I keep going. Like if I'm, like I said, I'm talking about spiders, right?
Right.
I'll just be like, spiders, 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 spiders. What about this in spiders? Like spider, like, you know.
They're
so
all
I keep-
related. Did you know that, Eric?
I just keep trying to improvise around my idea to see if there's something there. And once I poke it a couple times, I'm like, yeah, no, there's nothing here.
There's nothing there. Let's leave that.
Just
Did
move on.
everything I
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
Let sleeping dogs lie. But
So what about you guys? How are you?
We're great, man.
I hate talking so long. I'm so winded. I'm long-winded.
You know what?
Oh, no,
you
you're
not.
not.
Aaron, how
No,
long do you
you're
think?
not.
How
good.
long do you
No,
think
it
you've been
was so
talking
good.
right now?
I like playing
I
radio with you
enjoyed
guys.
How long do you
listening.
think you've been talking right now?
I don't know.
It hasn't been that long.
But sometimes I'm on stage and I'm like, what is it?
It's been 55 minutes.
That's pretty good, yeah.
That's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
smooth when it doesn't.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
it is a crazy thing that just talking about how long you talk in like time.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, just talking to my kids about stand up. And
Are they fans?
yeah, they've never even seen me do stand up. I think like my comedy special, they were backstage for like 11 minutes and then I hit a point where I don't know why this joke is so early, but in my special I have a joke about smoking weed in the garage as dads do.
Yeah.
And as I'm about to start the joke in my comedy special, if you look before I start that joke, my kids are still in the wings, and I'm like, and I kind of give a signal to my wife, like, time to go.
Yeah.
Daddy's about to start talking about real shit. Like,
I love that, actually. I'm glad you said that. I wrote a couple things down that I loved. I like that with the gas or whatever.
wait, why was I answering that? Was I answering a question? What did you ask?
I'm the most ADD too.
I know, but
can't
I
even
give
remember.
this like setup for
Yeah.
it. I can't help
we
it.
shouldn't talk to each other because it's just gonna be a
okay.
digression. Like, I don't.
Oh, my
what
kids!
the
My
hell?
kids never saw me. That's what I was saying.
Oh yeah, are they fans?
Yeah, no, my kids never saw me. That's they've never seen me. No, they've seen me do improv and stuff like that. But no, I was telling. I remember now. I was telling my kids. They just thought it was kind of amazing, and I never thought about it. And so I was like, I'm doing my new. My kids started hearing me say recently, I'm doing my new hour since my Amazon special. Like I'm working on my new hour, and my son's like, does that mean you talk for an hour?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was like, holy shit.
Like, yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I was like, that's crazy. Like me and my son had this moment. I'm like, that shit's wild, ain't it, bud? I'm like, I never even thought about that.
That's a
like,
long
because
time.
when you think about it, you're like, you know, like I remember speech class in college. They were like, you have to do a 5-minute speech. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Oh, how am I gonna? You know, that was actually pretty easy because I love attention. But yeah, there's just a little thing. Like I'm like, wow, that is a long ass time. And you do really like every once in a while, like because I record on my phone and there's like a timer. And I look down and I'm like, 57 minutes? Who do you think you are? Up here. You're not even giving them the gospel. You know what I mean? You don't even tell them how to save their soul. You know, or like, who do you think you are? Sitting here talking about poopy diapers for an hour, you dumbass. But it is amazing. It's amazing that like, you're like, I'm talking to somebody for an hour and they pay me. And I'm talking about my kid's shitty diaper. Like, it's dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Don't tell
Yeah.
anybody. It's a racket. Comedy is ridiculous.
But you have to keep doing it and keep being there and keep, showing up and stuff.
Right.
And like I think that's what separates. Like you do have to be funny. There's a lot of funny people, but a lot of funny people also don't want to have the work ethic. And when you have the two, that's what you see.
It's a job.
With Aaron Kleiber.
It's a job.
Yeah.
It's a straight up job. because I'm my own agent, manager, marketing director, event planner, travel planner, graphic designer, video editor, writer, producer. I mean, you do everything. It's not fair.
Do you like doing it? That seems like a lot.
Nope.
Nah, okay.
Not anymore.
Good answer.
I don't. I mean, I mean, definitely. I know there's you reach a point in your career where you're like, I don't feel like calling or emailing and pestering these bookers anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
They are so nice to me, and all I keep going is, will you please book me? Do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? Like it's exhausting, and it's also a very exhausting thing. You'd think that like it's part of the business, but really, man, like putting your face and your name like it's when you try to be like we're all selfish. Like we all like everybody that's in entertainment. Like even you guys to an extent. Like you're a little selfish. You like this a little bit. If we didn't
like it, we wouldn't be
doing it.
Like,
yeah.
For a comedian exponentially to like I'm saying anybody that puts their face on a screen, we are like super wounded. We're like all by ourselves, like in a room with strangers. Do you like me? Like that's it's a sickness.
Like me?
So like you like it. You like the fulfillment, but then like after a while you're like the business. After a decade, you're like, this is exhausting.
Yeah.
This is like, come and see me at the Giggle Shack, please. Here's a picture of my face on a map. Like it's just like
Yeah, I get it too. I mean, obviously we're very small scale, but just like promoting anything, it's just like,
you feel gross a little bit.
Come see me, but why the fuck would anyone want to see me?
I know, dude. It's just like, why does anybody care?
Yeah.
Like, why? I know, but you
Come
that's
listen
why,
to me talk so I hate myself less for a little bit.
Yeah, but then you realize you're like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you feel amazing. You tell jokes, and then they hand you a check, and you're like, this shit is crazy.
Right.
How did I convince them to do this?
Yeah.
It's like
It's a racket, like you just said.
dude, it's a racket. It's
It's
so
the
crazy.
best way to do it, right?
I tell people all the time, I'm like, I get paid to tell stories about my wife and kids.
There you go.
It's so dumb.
It's content that keeps creating itself.
It is, dude. It is.
Where can everybody find you?
I mean, if you spelled my name right on the podcast, I mean,
I looked a million times.
I know because
It's the E before I, right?
I before E, except in German. That's right.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit.
You're like,
I
I
before
before
you.
That's right. It's just Aaron. I mean, Aaron Kleiber on everything, all the socials, whatever. I do shows. I mean, if you're the couple people that are watching streaming right now,
There you go. Aaron Kleiber right there.
I'm at the Little Lake Theater in Canonsburg on Friday.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
But yeah, I mean, I have some local shows coming up. Not a ton because you want people to come see you.
Yeah.
So if you are headlining every 2 weeks in your hometown,
That's a
no
little
one will see you.
overexposure.
So yeah, I got some stuff in the fall coming up. I was just at the Improv. You missed that. Your fault. So yeah,
That's why we're here, is to call everyone out who wasn't at Aaron's show.
I know. But
You and you.
What else do you want to talk about? What's the next hour? Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm glad we got into that. It's all fecal matter. Now, Cheech,
Good. I got a lot of material on that.
how many orifices have you been shit or puked in?
Oh my God.
Is it orifices or orify?
Orify? That's a business
None.
model that can
None.
happen
I have been
on the
shit
internet.
in my hands before, but that's it. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend with a kid for a while,
Yeah.
so that was
I'm looking at you over there. I'm like, this guy's definitely been shit on before.
Yeah, definitely have. Yeah,
And
just
like,
once.
You look at me and you're
Just
like,
once.
You see a dad and you're like, he's definitely been shit on. But we look at you and we're like, I don't know what circumstance it
He
was.
paid for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the difference.
Well, I was just talking about from the kids.
A dare. You know, like, who
Now,
knows
if
what
you're
it was?
talking about in my personal life because of my own pleasure, I don't want to
only
get
been
into that
twice.
number.
Yeah,
No, I don't want to get into that
no,
number.
that's
It's far
for the
too
adults.
high
I get
to talk about on
No,
there.
you know what? People pay for you to talk about that. So
Well, once they start paying, I'll start talking.
that's true.
There you go, Cheech. Know your worth,
There you
man.
I want Cheech's own dirty podcast.
I got you, bro. I got the dirtiest of the fucking
Midnight
dirt.
Cheech Tales.
Yeah, I got the dirtiest of the
Find out
dirt.
how
If you want
got
to hear
that
about
ass
them,
cyst,
man. What?
That ass cyst.
Dude,
find
don't
out
tell
the
me
origin
about it,
story of
man.
that.
Fuck.
Ass cyst.
Well, it turns out my girl was pegging me, and no,
It's a good metal band name.
Hey, man. Who was saying that earlier? You got a... Who was it? Was that Jeremy?
I don't know.
About, what was it? Well, we'll talk about it later. It wasn't pegging. It was,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, edging.
Oh, edging. Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
I'm watching
Well, I was
Facebook, please
edging
words.
while I was getting pegged. And you see what happened
We're
was.
only saying it to watch the closed caption on.
Yeah, for sure.
But Aaron, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
I can't believe we're done.
I told you we would do like half an hour, and it's been an hour and 3 minutes.
I don't
so.
care. Whatever you guys want. Whatever.
Okay, Shay. Never mind. Shay will talk forever.
I need to stand up.
This is good times.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cheese has to do that, but yeah, definitely
My
check
ass
out.
hurts, and there's no cysts. So,
Not yet.
yeah.
But definitely check out Aaron. You're performing with Helen.
Yeah, Helen Wildy is
Okay,
open
yeah.
for me in Canonsburg.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, another great friend. Helen's so damn funny. I love Helen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like now, like
Love
in
her to
Pittsburgh
Helen
now.
back.
Yeah, right. Dude, by the way, I want to give her a shout out.
Good one.
She has one of the funniest Instagram usernames. It's just is how the Helen.
How the Helen?
How the hell?
Funny, come on, I love it.
I like
How
it.
the
It's
hell?
nice. It's clean
I
and
love
quick
it.
and basic.
I
Yeah.
love when you see people that can do that, and it's like mine is like my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like my whole ass name.
The only thing worse than your name is the real and then your name.
Oh boy, yeah. You know what? There is the real Aaron Kleiber out there, and you can take over whenever you want.
We're taking it right now.
No.
Cheech, I'm happy to have you back, and Shay, I'm happy to have you back.
back, Bubba.
Check us out August 6th, this Saturday at Rhythm and Brews in Bellevue. We'll be
Oh, nice.
recording live from there. Check
Oh my
out
God,
15
this
different
Saturday.
breweries.
Hopefully, cis free.
It's coming up already, man.
I'm excited.
Hopefully, cis free for the show.
Hopefully, cis free.
We'll see, man.
We'll see what happens.
But then we have a bunch of comedians. Like I said, the rest of August, we have Mark Shimkitz next week, Maddie Malloy, Seneca Stone, and Chrissy Costa.
I love all of them. All
Oh,
great
yeah?
people. All great people.
Good. I'm glad. I was gonna ask you for some recommendations, but I'll ask you afterwards. So.
Yeah. Matty Malloy, he did a guest set at the Improv on my weekend. Like a month ago.
really?
It's so funny, yeah.
I'm excited. I haven't met. I know Mark, but I haven't met the other guys yet, or Christy.
Oh, yeah.
Or Chrissy.
Seneca's so funny. Chrissy Costa's so funny.
Christy, I'm so excited to meet.
Yeah,
Christy.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing some love to comedy always.
Oh yeah, we always try to.
Always.
I like meeting all these guys, and I just like meeting people who are out doing things or just like making an effort to do things because like
I haven't even talked about what I'm doing, and so that you're gonna have to tune in next time.
oh tell it I was gonna
No, I don't care. Like I'm like, this is fun. We had a fun conversation.
Can you give us a small teaser and then give
no,
them a
I'm-
reason? No teaser is the ultimate teaser.
Yeah, no teasers. I'll just have to come on. How many comedians? Yeah, sorry. You'll have to line me up in like, what's that? September, October.
Yeah. We'll get you at the beginning.
sorry.
We'll see. We got a live show we're talking about that.
I got things that I'm developing, and I didn't lose my house, so that's good.
Well, that's good,
I'm
man.
still
Super
I'm
good.
still working in entertainment. I'm doing a little less stand up, and I'm back to writing and developing stuff.
Good.
Shows, whatever. Yeah. It's been a lot of
Definitely.
fun.
Well,
Wrote a couple commercials recently.
Oh.
Yeah. Random stuff, dude.
That's
Comedy
so
is content
crazy.
creation. It's pretty rad. Yeah.
That's awesome.
fun,
Yeah, like we've been saying with all
I had to
this.
diversify when you couldn't like go out and do stand up.
Well, that's very
And then I was like,
cool.
wait, I write comedy. You mean you'll pay for that?
Yeah.
Funny stuff I write? It's wild. It's wild.
Well, if you go from being funny here to being commercial creator and then also funny, you're the funniest commercial creator right now.
I'm trying, dude. I don't want to write commercials, you know. But
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
But if you're going to, you might as well be the
hey,
funniest.
man, I mean, like, I didn't think that someone would like pay you money to like write funny stuff for like, you know, like I just worked on something that it's a major brand in Target. And like I wrote their whole commercial and they're like, yeah, this is funny. I'm like, you're going to pay me for this? This is crazy. That's kind of like writing sketch now. I mean, that's kind of coming back in my sketch roots. That's funny you said that.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I literally can talk right now. Anyway,
Oh, you're good. We
guys,
appreciate
go home. Kiss your kids.
There you go.
You live in the dream.
Yes.
God bless.
Absolutely. But Aaron, thank you so much for
Thanks,
taking
friends.
the
This is
time to
good.
join us. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to more commercials and more things because it'll be a surprise.
Yeah,
Definitely
live
go through
stand up, whatever. Who
all of
knows?
Aaron's stuff. But for the beautiful Cheech, for the beautiful Shay, for the beautiful Aaron, I'm Chris.
All I'm going to say is I'm so
Beautiful.
Yeah.
that I was allowed to be part of your day.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We hope you had a good time. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the show to catch the latest episodes and share with your friends. We can't promise not to embarrass you. And if you just can't get enough, follow us on Instagram at Poor Man's Podcast 412, Twitter at Poor Man's Pod 412, and Facebook. This is Pittsburgh's own Poor Man's Podcast signing off. See you next week.